Your heart's racing. There are only 30 seconds left in the game, and your team is losing by 1 point. You have the ball at your feet, and you're sprinting down the middle of the field. You glance up, and you see the net is right in front of you. You have a clear, open shot. With one touch, you push the ball out. One step, you launch the ball. One shot, you shoot. All you need is one shot. But as you're just about to plant your foot, your leg buckles and your foot crushes into the ground. You've broken your ankle, and you've missed your opportunity. In 2014, I missed my opportunity. It was January 1st, New Year's Day, when I first rolled my left ankle. Great way to start the year, I know. But it wasn't this setback that defeated me. In fact, through this injury, I became more motivated than ever to get back on the field. I would go to practices and do my own exercises on the side. I even rode a stationary bike with one leg every day for 12 weeks. A little excessive? Maybe. But dedicated? Yes. My efforts to return stronger than ever showed on April 19th, 2014, when I played my first game in 4 months. Coming off the bench, I was a spark plug. Within 15 minutes, I had scored 2 goals and assisted another. Wow, where did that come from? I honestly didn't know, and it almost seemed too good to be true. By May 18th, 2014, this suspicion came into reality. I was competing in a soccer showcase and playing in my second game of the tournament. With only a few minutes left in the game, I lunged my right foot forward to block a pass. But in the air, my ankle went loose. And as the ball collided with my foot, the only thing I could hear was one loud crack. In less than 4 weeks, after recovering from my last injury, I had gone and broken my other ankle. I was devastated. All the work I had put in over the past 5 months felt pointless. Why did I work so hard just to injure myself again? I had no answers, and I was angry. I was mad at myself and at my body because it couldn't perform when I needed it to. But what made the situation worse was that Team Canada tryouts were less than 2 months away, and I would not recover in time. My dream of making the U17 national team was slipping away, and I began to feel like a deflating balloon falling through space as all its air rushed out of it. My life has changed many times in a matter of seconds. But as Charles R. Swindoll once said, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So whenever life threw me a curveball, I had a choice to make. Do I let the situation push me down, or do I rise above it? The first time I injured my ankle, I rose above it. I kept my head high and worked hard to get back. It was as if there was this small body of water in front of me, and I had this tiny sailboat that needed to get across the water. With all the air I could muster, I blew, and I didn't doubt myself once. But by the time I broke my other ankle, I was out of air. I had nothing left to push the boat across the water. And instead of rising up and taking one more big breath in, I let my situation push me down. But even in this state, deep down inside, I knew I needed to get back up. So I began to think about the things people have told me throughout my life. One thing that stuck was something my mom has shared with me ever since I was young. And that is that everything happens for a reason. Although we may not know what that reason is, we must have faith that something good will come from it. We are on this path, she would say, and one day we'll find out why. It's not the final destination that counts. It's the journey. Or as Miley Cyrus would say, it's the climb. So let me share a story with you that helped me overcome my 2 injuries and my failure to make the national team. In 1593, there's this king and his servant who did everything together. The king was not very religious, but the servant believed in everything God did. In many circumstances, he would tell the king not to dwell, because everything God does is perfect. Everything he does has a purpose. So one day, the king decided to go hunting and brought his servant along. In the woods, they set up and waited all day. But there wasn't a single stirring in sight. So eventually, the king decided it wasn't a good day and began to pack up. But just as he turned his back, a hyena jumped out from behind the bushes and attacked him. In a frenzy of panic, the servant grabbed his weapon and launched an arrow towards the hyena, slicing through the king's finger on its way. The hyena was killed, but the king was furious. If God is so perfect, then why did I just get attacked and lose my finger? He yelled. But his servant replied with his usual response, I do not know why, but all is good. Everything God does is perfect. He is never wrong. Unsatisfied by this response, the king ordered for his servant to be locked up upon their return. The next day, the king decided to go hunting alone. Again, he went up to the woods and set up, but this time, he was captured by a tribe who was going to use him for sacrifice. However, they realized the king was not complete. He was missing a finger. They could not sacrifice the king in this state, so they let him go. The king was relieved and raced home to release his servant. My friend, the king beamed, you were right. God is good to me. I was captured by this tribe who was going to use me for sacrifice. But because I was missing a finger, they let me go. I am so sorry for locking you up here. But the servant only responded by saying, No, this is good. You see, if you hadn't locked me up here, then I would have gone with you today, and they would have taken me instead. So no matter what happens, there's a reason behind it. We may not know what that reason is, but someday we might. As I look back to the second time I injured my ankle, I had no answers. I was on this upward climb, only to be stopped in mid-stride. But slowly, as time progressed, I began to see bigger pieces of the puzzle. My injuries have truly tested my drive, my dedication, and my passion for the game. And my failure to make the national team has continued to push me to be a better athlete every day. Although I may not know what my destination will be, I know I'm on the right path. And whatever struggles I encounter will only help me get closer. So when things get tough, let's say you get a disappointing test mark, break an ankle, or not make a team, choose not to dwell. You can't go back in time and change what's happened. So why fret about it? Of course, you might be disappointed, and that's okay. We can't stop our emotions from coming, but just like waves, we can choose which ones we want to surf. So feel your emotions, then choose to rise above them. Choose to be positive, and choose to learn from the experience. No matter how quickly life changes, and regardless of what happens, you can make the decision to be happy. Whether you believe things happen for a reason or not, you can take any situation you're in and decide to look at it through a positive lens. Now will you please join me in singing hymn 662.